Good evening, everyone. My name is April Giauque, and welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast. We are here this evening with Miss Tammy Arlene. You might also know her as Tammy Pederson. What's the best way to say that? Pederson? Okay, with that D in there, I'm like, which way are we going? But welcome everyone this evening. And when you are here popping up live, please put down where it is that you're from. And we would love to be able to have this conversation with all of you. Tonight, our topic is going to be about fiction writing. It's going to be bringing us into different characters and how those characters can impact our lives. And this is going to be a great, exciting conversation with Miss Tammy. I'm really looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to it for a few months and was so excited when she finally filled out that form. And I'm like, yes, she's in. We'll put her on the calendar. Let's do this thing. So I'm really excited. So again, my name is April Giauque, and I am down here from Kyle, Texas. And Tammy, tell us where you are broadcasting from tonight.
I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona, in the mountains of Arizona.
All right, the mountains of Flagstaff, Arizona. Excellent. Hey, John. It looks like John is here again from Overland Park, Kansas. Excellent. How cold is it over there, John? Has the Arctic vortex come your way yet? I'm sure it's not hitting Flagstaff.
Not yet.
No, not yet. Well, welcome everybody here tonight. And Tammy, she has an incredible book. She's actually working on the second part of a 3-part series of a fictional series. And this book that we're going to talk about tonight is called Coming Home. And whoa, John says it's 12 degrees. Woo, that's pretty cold. Okay, Tammy, hold up that book. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
That's okay.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful cover right there. Coming Home. Looks like something that you would really want to come home to, but maybe that's not the case. I mean, share with us a little bit about your background, and then we're going to dive into this book. And if you have any questions out there, please post them down and we will answer them because Tammy is here live for y'all. Okay, Tammy, share with us a little bit about your life.
Okay, well, I'll be turning 50 here in a few months, and I consider myself a thriver, a survivor and a thriver, because I've overcome domestic violence, a cycle of domestic violence, medical trauma, emotional abuse, several things. And I've been able to take those things and make myself stronger. When I say cycle, I don't mean that I kept making new mistakes. I kept making the same mistakes in my life. And in regards to domestic violence, I've been married 5 times, and I'm very open about that. I would get out of a relationship that was not healthy for me, and then I'd find myself right back in another one that was probably a little worse. So once I broke that cycle, I'm now married, my 5th marriage, but I was able to finally find my purpose and find true love. And it wasn't until I began to love myself that I found that.
Whoa. That matches so incredibly well with our healing conference that we were just talking about yesterday. You're telling me that you had to do this kind of introspective discovery first before a marriage would work, before you found happiness, before you weren't expecting somebody else to fill all of the gaps that, oh, wait, I have. I mean, wow, that is really impactful. So, Tammy, how did you discover that?
Well, I hit rock bottom, and it wasn't the first time. Like I said, I was at my 4th divorce. I did have problems leaving my abusers, but once I made the decision, I would leave. But it was only a few months later that I would find I was with another one. Maybe a little different, but I was looking for that Prince Charming. And really, truly, and I have to be honest, the only true, pure man is Jesus himself. And it was when I really grasped my faith and started to love myself like Jesus loves me, I was able to receive love from the man who came into my life, Eric, that I'm now married to, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes great sense because when we discover that we are loved, we are lovable, we have worth, and it comes from divine, it just starts to connect. And I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. And I really hope that from here forward, really things can continue to progress and grow together. I mean, no one's perfect but Savior. So we'll have some up and downs, but hopefully not anything like you had in the past. And it looks like things have changed. So, Tammy, that kind of leads us into this whole concept about fiction writing and development of character and story. So I have to ask you, does this story have anything to do with domestic violence?
Yes, it absolutely does. The main character, Victoria, is at a crossroads. She's planning to return to her abusive husband, who's also an alcoholic. And she finds a Bible, and I'm not going to give too much away in the story, but she finds a book in the bedside table of a hotel room and opens it, and it plants a seed of hope in her heart. And she's able to make a small choice, because when we make choices to leave domestic violence, they're little steps of faith. And she makes that one step, and then the next step, the next step. And no, it wasn't perfect. She went through some struggles, and no, I'm not going to give away the story.
Don't give away the story.
No, she almost ended up going back to him again, because it is a cycle. And she was able to overcome that because of that little seed of faith, and take another step towards her freedom and loving herself and finding her own worth. And she ended up being able to come home, which is the title of the book.
Excellent. This whole concept about coming home, the opportunities that this character, even though it's fictional in a setting, you can see how true to life things happen, and the connectability, right? That's what pulls us in. We want to know, well, how is she doing? What happened next? And if there's a way for, even though it's fiction, for that character to figure out a way out, it might start to plant some seeds within ourselves. If anyone out there is also trapped in domestic violence, to think, you know what, there's probably something more. And, to reach out, to read something, and, recovering, it's really important that we do so. Kathy says, recovering from abuse is definitely a cycle. Yeah. And, we both agree with that. Yes. So Tammy, is this book based on any parts of the abusive relationships that you might have suffered from?
Yes, it actually is. I was married to an alcoholic, and part of the physical abuse that happens in the story is based on that, and part of the reason why I left that relationship. But the actual setting and all of that is purely fictional.
Okay. That helps us to kind of get those connections where, when we draw upon our experiences that we've had and put them in different settings, I mean, that's what brings us in, because it connects that human, I would say, trauma is connecting, even though it's not healthy, right? Those experience and fear, emotions, they bring us right into the story. And so with your character, Victoria, does she have any support systems within her group? Is it solely alone? Who does she meet along the way?
She meets two other women who are also struggling. The three women meet at a crossroads in all of their lives, a little different for each of them, but they're both overcoming trauma of some type. And I relate to each one of them, so there's a little bit of them in each character. And what I found in writing the stories of these women and of the abusers in their lives is I was able to develop the characters and understand them better, and also develop forgiveness for my abusers in the process. And that was part of my healing while writing, even though the abuse happened years ago. I was able to heal just by fleshing out the characters and seeing how they interacted and realizing that we all make our own choices.
Wow. The choice of forgiveness in the face of domestic violence, it is the most amazing and freeing opportunity. And I say that because it's true, but it doesn't mean you have to face one-on-one with the abuser and say, I forgive you. It can be done in a lot of different ways. But in the heart, if we are holding on to that and continuously holding on to that, that's going to be the poison that will eventually destroy us. And
Right.
so I don't want to make any, mixed signals out there, but it is true that if we can forgive those, that's when we become to this victory part. So I always say that we have this cycle, and especially anyone who comes out of trauma or any type of abuse, there is the victimhood, which needs to happen because we have to recognize, yes, this happened. Now, the challenge can be that we like to label that, and some of us identify with that very well. And so we stay, and our habits just keep going deeper into the victimhood, and we present ourselves. I was a victim of, and then fill in the blank. If that stays for too long, that's not going to be healthy. Then some of us start to move into the survivor mode, which is definitely the next step, which is great because it gives us a little more fire underneath us and we start to find some strength. But what we find a lot of times in the survivor portion, it's just that all energy goes to survive for the day, and you really can't think of others around you or helping others, not yet. And then we watch the cycle go into the thriver. The thriver, I don't know if they suddenly look up or remember or feel or hear for the first time everyone else who's been there, and they want to reach, help, give the hope that they had. They want to reach out. They want to do so much more. But then getting back to the very beginning of forgiveness, that's when victory happens. And so to go from a victim to a true victor, this journey of healing has to happen. And I will say, once you start on this journey, at least for myself, and I think for many others, there's really not an end because it's just an amount of progress that happens. So it's not perfection. It's not conclusion. It's not a checklist. Dang it. I like checklists.
I do too. Mark it off. Done.
Mark it off. I guess what we can say is we've marked off that we've started. We'll just never really understand when that end is. And so that part can really, really be encouraging. So I love the fact that in developing your characters on the abuser's side, you found forgiveness. Share with us how that felt while that moment, while that was happening.
Well, to me, it came to me that it wasn't my burden to carry. We're all responsible for our own actions and how we respond, but not responsible for the person who did the assault or the damage that was done. So if we can forgive them, we lift the burden off of us and let them deal with their own burden, and you feel lighter. You feel lighter and you feel better, and you wonder why you carried that around. It's like carrying a backpack full of bricks on you. And when you can let that go, you wonder why you ever carried it in the first place. Now, it's not like a fully forward motion. There are moments when I've stepped back and found a little bit of anger I needed to deal with in regards to certain people. And then I had to move forward from that. So it's not just like, oh, you're forgiven and then everything's great. And a lot of the people that have hurt me in my life, I've never even confronted them or spoken to them about forgiveness. I've forgiven them in my heart and left it to God.
I love that. That's the safest way. That is the safest way, especially in domestic violence. It is the safest way. You can definitely, and this is this whole concept right here, right? You can be a beacon of light to others, but the lighthouse is firmly planted on the rock, right? It's not in the middle of the storm where all of the abuse and the burden and the responsibility is all there. get back up on that rock, your sure foundation. If you find that in Christ, you find that in God, find that in the universe, it has to be something that is more than you. And as you stand there, you can reach out, shine a light out there, say, forgiven, and it's in your heart, and God can carry it to whomever needs to, and that is safe. But it's really freeing. There's nothing fake about that, and I love and thank you for bringing that forward tonight, Tammy. It's just awesome.
Well, I realized that after I had gone through that process, one of my abusers, I found out passed away mid last year. And I was so glad that I dealt with that before finding out that they had passed away, because I felt a release, I guess. It's hard to explain. I felt at peace about it.
Yeah. I think that peace, as it carries through, there's something really, I want to say, even magical about it. There's just, all is forgiven. It is incredible. It is incredible. Pamela, you are beautiful. Pamela says, you are a beautiful light, Tammy.
Hi, Pam.
Thank you so much for joining us here. And Crystal says, from victim to victor. Yeah, exactly. Kathy, the best is survivor to thrive to transcending. Yeah, and you can see where the progress goes with that, and it just keeps going. Thank you, Kathy, Crystal, Pamela, everyone. Kathy has done some amazing work with understanding that cycle of forgiveness to the abuse that happened to her, and many who go through this and write their stories. It is this opportunity to free, to share, to give hope. And so, Tammy, what do you hope that your books, this whole series, will do? We have the first one of Coming Home, and you're in the middle of the second one. Is that right?
Yes, I am. Well, I wrote them as fiction first out of my own safety, because I was protecting my own heart. But about halfway through book one, I realized that I wanted to do fiction because I wanted books that were safe to be on the bedside table of a woman who might still be in abuse, where she could read this and it doesn't say 10 steps to get out of domestic violence, how I escaped domestic violence. It's a fiction book, and a woman could read this and get that freedom in herself and the courage to make the next step. The next book is going to touch a little bit on human trafficking, and the third book is going to touch on childhood sexual trauma and body image. So all three will be written fictional, and they're all in Whisper Creek, which is my little town that I made up. And I'm hoping that women can find comfort in a fictional book and kind of escape their own reality and find something encouraging there that helps them move forward in their own lives. And they can also reach out to me, because I'll answer emails, Facebook private messages, and all that too, if they need to talk to someone.
Love that. Thank you for being open and allowing that to happen. A Facebook user says, smart thinking about making it fiction. So yes, a lot of planning and thinking has gone into this. And so thank you, Facebook user. I don't know who you are, but thank you for your comment this evening. So Tammy, in the second book, you touched on the topic. So where will we start in this second book?
Well, the second book picks up where the first one left off, and the character Madison, she has left a life of Las Vegas, dancing, stripping, I guess you could say, and she's trying to get herself together, and she's discovered art, painting, and just trying to figure out what she wants to do, because she never really gave herself that chance. She thought her value was in her own sexuality, and she's exploring it, but she gets drug into something in order to help the law stop abuse from happening. And really, I don't want to give away too much, because I'm still writing it and we're right there. But needless to say, she goes to work to help others in a way that I wouldn't probably personally be brave enough to do.
Ooh, that's intriguing right there. That's intriguing. So, when is this book coming out, Tammy?
Uh, Probably July, August.
Wow, so this year.
This
This year.
year, it's
Okay.
halfway done. Just
Okay.
need to get it moved on a little bit further and, polish it up, and we'll get it out there.
Excellent. Get it out there. And I saw a sneak peek of the 3 covers on
Mhm,
my LinkedIn page. I'm like, whoop, she's ready. This thing is
mhm.
planned. She's got some real good momentum coming in with this. And I understand that you have an audio book. Is that right? With
Yes,
Coming Home?
yes, I do have an audiobook
Ooh.
that's coming home, and I'll do the same with the other 2, and, hopefully have the same narrator because I like that continuity. Um, and I also have a companion Bible study that I just launched last week. I launched it quietly, but it's on my website, completely downloadable with videos and workbooks. So that
Excellent. What can we find in that course, in that Bible study?
it's I called it From Pain to Purpose. Initially, I called it I based it on from a seed growing into a bloom. Based it on the concept of how we grow. And sometimes we plant a seed and we don't see anything for a while. We need to keep watering and nurturing it and taking care of it until it finally sprouts. And then once it sprouts, we have to continue taking care of it and continue to find our purpose in life, which is something that I had to do, is find my purpose in life. And I'm not a very patient person, so I had to be patient and wait on the Lord for a lot of things. And I wanted to share my story in the Bible study, and it's a 12-week study.
Excellent. That is a great opportunity right there. I love what Kathy says. She says this is a brilliant way to encourage, a means to leave. Sophie, Sophie, I haven't seen you for a bit. She is somebody that is just all in, and she brings many people to find who their maker is and to help them understand that to leave domestic violence, the healing needs to start, and we have to start somewhere where you find that value. Thank you, Sophie. Yes, come
Thank you,
on in. I'm
Sophie.
so glad that you are here to support this. So, Tammy, before we kind of end this evening, what is something that you would like to share with all of the listeners today about your book, about your future books, about anything really?
Wow. I just would like to encourage everyone, if they're going through a struggle, no matter what it is, whether it be domestic violence or medical trauma, because I did have a Whipple surgery, and no need to go Google that. It's pretty horrible. About 6 years ago. And no matter what struggle you're going through, you have to find it within yourself, find that faith, and grow and thrive past it. And you can do it. You're capable of far more than what you think. You really are.
You are. It's really interesting that strength and opportunity really come out when the struggles are happening. If it was always smooth sailing, we would never be able to test that strength, test the muscle. And it sounds a little cliche, and we're like, yeah, but this really hurts. Can we just move on and make things smooth? Like, well, how polished do you want to be?
Yeah.
How strong do you want to become?
Well, diamonds
And
have to get pressed really hard, and refined.
that's true.
That's what we
Before
have to do.
Same, yeah. The process that we find a lot of the times in nature, they're perfect examples for all of us. I understand you live pretty close to the Grand Canyon,
I
and there
do.
was a little process that happened to make that grand, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Years and years of carving out through a raging river, pulling down boulders, time eroding. So it didn't happen in 100 years.
Mm-mm. No, not quite.
Billions of years of just going down and through the, I mean, wow. So in that refinement of our own lives, be patient with yourself, give yourself grace,
Mhm.
call upon it from others, find that network and support. And please remember, you are not alone in any of this. You're not alone. There's so many friends to reach out right here, just even on the podcast tonight. Sophie, Kathy, Pamela, Crystal, John, so many people here sharing, look, I see you, I value, I'm here, and I can listen. And Tammy herself said to reach out. We've got her website right there, www.tammyarlene.com. Is there an email address that you want to share as well?
Yes, my email is contact@tammyarlene.com. And I'm also on Facebook, and I use my messenger. So if anyone wants to reach out and chat, I'm happy to get in touch with anyone who wants to talk. Anyone who needs a little bit of encouragement, just a little bit of light in their day, I'm happy to do it, because there were people in my life that did that for me.
Yes, and that makes a big world of difference, because when we can have those earthly angels here that surround us, we know that He can send them that direction and give us that heavenly hug, right? That opportunity to know, you're right, we are not alone. Right. Thank you so much, Tammy. And everyone, thank you out there for commenting, being supportive of this evening, and go out there and get that book, Coming Home. Get the audiobook of it as well if you don't have time to do reading during a commute. Great opportunity to listen. Again, another way it's safely kind of reading and understanding a way of possibilities to, identify, realize I might be in a similar situation, and to know how to get out. So thank you, everybody, again for coming and being here with us tonight with Tammy. Tammy, you are beautiful. Thank you again for sharing. And we really look forward to this second book, possibly coming out in July or August, but definitely this year, everybody. So encourage her, drop those lines down there on Facebook, wherever you find her. I know she's also on LinkedIn. So if you want to see those 3 covers, you can go to my LinkedIn page and see them right there, and, know that this is all coming about, and it's exciting. Thank you again so much, Tammy.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.